Welcome back for another video. In this video, we're going to be going over Mill Lesson 14, actually 3D Mill Lesson 14, Exercise A. It's this part here that you see in front of you. It's very similar to the tutorial. Let's take a look at this quickly and we'll get started. So we're going to build this the same way that I built the last one. I'm going to do rectangle, this shape, rectangle with some cutouts in it, and then we'll build this hex as well. We'll extrude all those up as add bodies, and then we'll work on this revolve that we have on the top there, which is similar to the last part. Very similar. So let's go ahead and get started. It looks like we have the same rectangle that we had last time. So I'm going to go to wireframe, rectangle, anchor to center. Width is going to be 4.625, as it's been pretty consistently with a lot of these parts. Height is going to be 2.5, and check. Alright, so that's done. And the next one looks like we have 2.25. I'm actually going to draw this as a rectangle as well. 2.25, it's not the width, 4 inches is the width, 4.0. 2.25 high, and hit check. Okay, looks like we have 1/4 inch radii around the edges of this, so let me do a fillet chains, and let me put them radii on there. Alright, now we have to do these little cutouts in here, so I'm going to add those in. It looks like they're 3/4 inches by 3/4 inches, so not too difficult there. Actually should have waited to do that quarter. So I'm actually undo that. Alright, so let's go ahead and I'm actually going to make this really easy on myself. I'm going to anchor this to the center, and since it's 3/4, I'm going to do a height of 0.75 by, actually, you know what? We can even do this, which is even cooler. Let's undo that. Let's go to our rectangular shapes, do a rectangle, 0 fillet, 0. And we'll do this and do 0.75 by 0.75. Done. Change the mount. Oops. Should have locked it. 0.75 by 0.75. Check. Okay. And what I'm going to do is just divide this one, this one. Okay, so there's my shape, and now that I have this whole shape, I'm going to add those fillets in again. Well, I guess I shouldn't have done that actually, because now it's going to fillet these corners. So now I have to do it by manually. Yeah, I didn't think far enough ahead. It happens sometimes. But no worries. There we go. Okay, so we got our shape. Next, we need to do a hex. So we have this hex, so we're going to pick our polygon, and it looks like we have a circumscribed circle in here. So we're going to go ahead and pick polygon, 6 sides, and we want to make that radius, looks like 2 inch diameter, 1.0. And that looks pretty good. Well, interestingly, no. There is an issue here. And let me point this out so you can actually see it. That circumscribed circle is including the radius. So we know we have an 1/8 inch radius, which means that's actually a 1/4 inch bigger. So we need to subtract a 1/4 from that, or an 1/8 inch from the radius here. So we're going to make this 0.875, and that will be the correct size. Yeah, that's right. All right, so let's go ahead and hit our check button. All right, so now we can go ahead and extrude these solids. Extrude this, check, and that's going to be 0.525. Okay, check. Extrude this one. This one's going to be 0.325. That's going to be an add. Check. And the next one is here, and that's going to be an add as well. 0.125. Enter. Check. All right. So that looks pretty good. One thing I am going to do, and I forgot to do in the beginning, is I want to create my solid there, and I'm just going to click on that, right click, send that to the solid level, check, and that looks good. Okay. All right, so that is created. Now if I bring this back over, it looks like we need some radii. So we need an 1/8 inch radius, 1/8 inch radius. It would appear in all of these. So let's go ahead and add those in a while. I could wait, but I like to get them in there. So let's get that one. Oops. That's a pain selecting all these things. Check. All right, and that's a 50 thousandths radius, so I'm gonna put 1.125. Tab. That looks much better there than what I did have. So let's go ahead and hit check, and add this one. Check. Okay. So there we are. So there's our basic shape for the bottom. Now we're going to go to the front plane, and we're working on this one. And let's go to the front plane, and let's go ahead and start drawing this stuff. So to start out, I'm going to draw my lines again like I did last time. And I'm going to go from point, check that, 0, 0.525 up to 0, 0.95, and hit check. And let me go ahead and bring this drawing up again. It looks like our distance is 0.7 to there. So 0.7 to the straight line. Let me zoom in on that a little bit. It's 0.7 to the straight line. So it's basically 0.7 in the x. Let's bring that over here quick. Straight line, 0.7, comma, 0.525. And I just draw that straight up. All right, so let's go ahead and work on getting some of these radii. It looks like, again, as usual, the internal radii are 0.125 and the externals are 0.5. So let's draw these external, this first external radius, which is 100 thousandths to center. So let's go ahead and make this 0.05. Tab. Oops, wrong thing. All right, so we got 100 thousandths to center. 0.1, comma, 0.9 is going to be the center of that one. The next one, that's an internal. That is an external, so 0.4 and 0.75. So 0.4, 0.75. 0.4, comma, 0.75. And the next one looks like it's on the edge here. So that's going to be 0.7, well, 0.7 minus 0.65 0.65. I think I screwed up here, actually. I did. 0.65, 0.6, yeah, 0.65, 0.65. Okay, that's easy enough. Center point, 0.65, comma, 0.65. Oh, gotta click in here. 0.65, comma, 0.65, enter. All right. So I didn't screw up there. I actually did have it right. Check that one, and we need to do 0.125 radius now. And let's see where those are located. So we have one that is right here at 0.3, comma, 0.925. 0.3, comma, 0.925. And let's see where our other one is at. Our other one is at 0.6, comma, 0.825. So 0.6, comma, 0.825. Enter. All right. So it looks like we got everything there. Let's go ahead and connect these. Okay, let's trim some stuff up. Oops, undo that. All right. So there is our basic profile. Let's just see, does that kind of look like it? Yeah, it does. All right, so I'm satisfied that that's correct. I do need to connect these two at the bottom. So that looks good. Check, and let's go ahead and revolve this. Revolve, and select that. Check. Revolve this way as a boss and add. I didn't do this last time, so I had to boolean it. Just forgot. So go ahead and hit check. Uh-oh. We might have an issue with the geometry down here. I don't know if I actually connected that or not. Check. All right, let's try that again. Solids. I thought something looked a little funky when yeah, there we go. I think that's going to change everything. Yep. So it's an add body. Check. All right. So that looks good. Let's just create our radius. Just right there. Check. 0.125 looks good. And I'm going to turn my geometry off. And now I have my solid. All right. I don't think it's actually asking for, let me zoom out here. I don't think it's actually asking for any radii on these corners. So I'm going to let them square, unlike the tutorial. Even though the tutorial didn't ask for it, I put them on there anyway. You can see it's pretty much, it doesn't have them on this one. So I'm going to leave them off. So I'm going to go to top. And we're going to go to transform. Translate 2.3125 comma negative 1.25 and negative 1.0. Enter. That is good. And hit check. Yes, I do want to move everything. Let's go ahead and create a wireframe bounding box. And I'm going to select this and selection. And we're going to make that 1.0. Check. All right, so there's our bounding box. I didn't need to make that 1.0, I just did anyway. Toolpaths. Let's go ahead and select our machine. Select setup. All entities. That makes it nice and easy. Check. All right, so there's our stock. Can't see it because it's around the bounding box, but that's fine. Next, we are going to do our pocket toolpath. I'm going to triple click and get everything here and selection. Containment boundary is going to be here. Check. Check. Select my tool, and I'm going to get an aluminum tool. Bull mill, 1/2 inch with an 1/8 inch radius. We're going to go 100 inches a minute, 12,000 RPM, 30.0 in the plunge rate. Surface, we're going to work on the outside because we want it to go outside of that bounding box, or to be able. Basically, it's telling you it can go outside. It's not saying it has to stay inside of it. So it gives it permission if it has to go outside to get like these edges over here. I can't rotate right now. It just beeped at me. Stock to leave on surfaces. Let's leave 10 thousandths on. Roughing, max step down. 0.1's fine. I'm okay with that. I could probably go a little more, but I'll leave it at that. Helix entry's fine. Depth cuts, absolute. I don't need to turn this on, but I am going to anyway. Detect flats. Check. And pocket parameters, we're going to do a constant overlapping spiral, and we're going to step over about 35%. And turn my finish off, and it's going to beep at me because I do that. Yes. Now, one thing I didn't change in here, I didn't change in the last video, I'm going to turn off that spiral inside to out. All right. So there we go. So let's take a look and see how that does. Okay, so that's pretty good. That has to do with the step down, by the way. That's why it's leaving that little bit on there. So I'm pleased with that. So let's go ahead and let's go ahead and finish this. So we're going to do a contour and triple click and selection. And once I have those selected, I'm going to contain the same way and hit check and select a different tool. We're going to use a 3/8 with that 32nd on it again. Feed rate 100 inches a minute, speed 12,000, and a plunge rate of 30.0. Surface, everything there is good. We're taking everything off. We're allowed to go outside. We want to do high speed. We want to do a shallow. We're going to add cuts. Minimum step down 0.005. Actually, I'm going to make that 2. And do check. And I'm going to turn flats on as well. And I'm going to make this 0.1 actually. And depth cuts. We're going to absolute. Auto detect flats. There we go. Check. And our max step down, we're going to make this 0.005. And we'll do one way. Check it. All right, let's see what that gives us. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Let's take a look and see what we got. Not bad. Not bad at all. So there we are. There is our finished part. Looks pretty good. So, as always, if you have questions, you can see me during my office hours, or, of course, you can see me during class.